Okay, why should you have a will? Well, one reason you should have a will is that your state has already written one for you and you may not like what it says. Your will give everything to your next of kin. So if you don't have a spouse or children, everything you have will go to your parents and possibly your siblings. If your parents have passed away, or sometimes it goes by percentages depending on your state. So if you have that sibling you can't stand, they're going to inherit your stuff potentially anyway. And if you have a least favorite child and you have children, that least favorite child is going to get everything in equal portion to your other children. So if you want to leave things to people you want to leave them to, for example, if you've been in the military and maybe you have a son, daughter, or grandson or granddaughters in the military, you may want them to have your military medals instead of them being sold and the money passed out equally, or something like that, which could happen if you don't have a will. So the state of wherever you live, it's written a will for you. So don't think you don't have one. You do. You just may not like the terms of what it is. And often heirs will fight over property and money and things like that if there is no will. Whereas if they see in the will that grandma's china was willed to this particular daughter or granddaughter or grandson, they usually accept it. And as we get old, sometimes in our dotage, we can actually promise the same thing to more than one person. And I've seen very many cases when people say, oh, no, you're a liar. Grandma promised that to me, or grandpa promised that to me. And poor old grandma or grandpa probably promised it to everybody because either they wanted to make you happy or they just didn't remember they promised it to someone else. So if you are grandma or grandpa, you want to have something in your will that says this is who gets what. And I've never seen anyone fight over it when it's in there. You also want to have a backup executor. So people say, well, Susan, why can't I just go online or go to the drugstore and get one of those? Well, you can get one of those, and those will be legal, but they may not do what you want it to do. So you want to make sure that you have a backup executor in case your executor, the person you promise who promises you rather to do the things that need to be done after you pass away. What if they're dead? What if they don't want to do it? What if they've got a lot going on in their life and they can't do it? So you need to have a backup. You also need to have backup heirs because sometimes people we don't expect to die before us do die before us. So you have to say, well, if my husband or wife isn't alive or my children predecease me, this is what I want to have happen to my stuff. And people don't think of that, and that's certainly not on the pre-printed forms. And the pre-printed forms don't have that way that you can add a list and say, okay, this child gets the medals, this one gets grandma's china, this one gets my artwork. And it's not that hard to do, but if you're an attorney, but if you're not an attorney and you try to do it, you can really mess it up. And I've seen people who have really messed it up. And the worst case I saw was where a lady had a sister she really hated, and the sister she really hated wound up not only with custody of her child, which you can also say who you want to have guardian of your child in a will, but they also wound up with her ashes, which they kept on their toilet, on the back of their toilet in a little urn. And it was a very sad case. But that's what happens when you mess up your will. So see an attorney. Again, it's not that expensive, and attorneys save money and grief. And you might think, well, I'll be dead, so it doesn't matter. Well, it's going to matter to your heirs, so don't be selfish. Make a will. Okay? Have a good day.